Sarah had always longed for a peaceful weekend getaway. So when she stumbled upon a secluded cabin by a lake, it seemed like the perfect escape from the hustle and bustle of city life. The rental site photos showed a charming wooden cabin nestled among towering pines, with a pristine lake just steps away. It looked serene, untouched, exactly what she needed. When she arrived, the cabin was exactly as advertised. The air was fresh, and the only sounds were the rustling leaves and distant bird calls. Sarah unpacked, poured herself a glass of wine, and settled on the porch to watch the sunset over the lake. It was idyllic until night fell. As darkness enveloped the area, a sense of unease crept in. The silence that had felt so soothing earlier now seemed heavy, oppressive. Sarah noticed something odd. The lake, which had been calm, now had ripples too large to be caused by the breeze. But there was no wind, and the trees stood still. Dismissing her unease as nerves, Sarah decided to go to bed early. She locked the door, checked the windows, and crawled under the covers. The old mattress creaked beneath her, but she eventually drifted off. In the middle of the night, Sarah woke to a soft splashing sound. At first, she thought it was part of a dream. But as she lay there, listening, the splashing grew louder, more rhythmic. It was coming from the lake. Curiosity got the better of her, and she slipped out of bed, wrapped a blanket around her shoulders, and quietly opened the front door. In the moonlight, she saw something that made her blood run cold. A figure stood in the water, too far away to see clearly but tall, with long, stringy hair hanging over its face. Its arms were outstretched, and it seemed to be dragging something through the water, creating the splashing sound that had woken her. Sarah's heart raced as she watched the figure slowly turn its head in her direction. Though she couldn't see its eyes, she felt its gaze on her. The figure began moving toward the shore, toward the cabin. Panic surged through Sarah. She slammed the door shut and locked it, her hands shaking as she fumbled for her phone. No signal, no way to call for help. She backed away from the door, her mind racing. She needed to hide, to find something to defend herself. Then she heard wet, squelching footsteps on the porch. The door rattled as something heavy pressed against it. The old wood creaked under the pressure, and Sarah knew it wouldn't hold. She ran to the kitchen, grabbing the largest knife she could find. Her eyes darted around the room, but there was nowhere safe to hide. The door burst open with a splintering crash, and the figure stepped inside. Up close, it was even more horrifying. Pale, bloated skin, patches of decayed flesh hanging from its bones, and hair matted with mud and algae. A rancid smell filled the room. Sarah gripped the knife, but the figure knocked it from her hand with inhuman strength, sending her crashing to the floor. As she scrambled to get up, the figure loomed over her, its cold, dead eyes locking onto hers. It reached out and grabbed her by the throat. Sarah gasped for breath, struggling to break free, but the grip was like iron. Everything went black. Days later, Sarah's body was found floating in the lake, pale and bloated, just like the figure she had seen. The locals whispered about a curse, a restless spirit haunting the lake, dragging victims to a watery grave. The cabin still stands, waiting for its next guest. But no one stays there for long.